Peace and blessings. How are all of my followers doing today? I hope you guys are feeling good. I hope you guys are feeling blessed. I hope you guys are feeling motivated. And even if you're not, it's okay. That's what I'm here for. I love you guys, man. And I got another good message for y'all today. I woke up early, man. I was up getting it. You know what they say, early bird get the worm. I was up while the sun was up, man. I woke up at the right side of the bed. And for all of you out there that have, sleep problems, because everyone's on different sleep schedules. Some people work late, some people work early in the morning. So we're all on different schedules. But for all of you that don't wake up too early, and when I say early, I mean from about 6 in the morning to about 8:30. That's early to me. If you're not waking up from 6 to 8:30, anything after that's kind of relatively late. So for all of you that don't wake up early, that's fine. But I suggest that you get in a sleep schedule that fits you, but I suggest that you try waking up a little more early, because the earlier you wake up, the better, man. Especially if you're a male, because you know what they say, your testosterone levels are the highest during the morning time. That's the best time to wake up. That's why when you wake up, you stay hydrated, you drink water, you hit a workout, boom, you shower, you pray, you meditate, do your breathing exercise, you get your day started. It's the best time to work out, man. It's the best time to for everything. Like in the morning, that's when I like reading my Bible. I wake up, I usually do my breathing exercises. I usually meditate for about 10 minutes, and then I go straight into the scriptures. I go on YouTube, I type in either 963 hertz or 432 hertz or 720. It kind of just depends how I'm feeling that day. But I put on the peaceful music, the high vibrational music, and I let it play in the background, and I usually read my Bible. That's how I get my day started. And again, I know everyone's on a different schedule. I know everyone kind of runs their day differently. Some people don't even have a schedule. They just get up and go with the flow. That's how I used to be. But I noticed the more I started having an actual schedule, the better my day was being ran. So I feel good today, man. I feel very good. I just got back from a Bible study, and I got another meeting at 1 o'clock I'm actually attending. So everything's going good, man. Praise Abba. Halal, y'all. All praise to the Most High, man. So I hope you guys are feeling good today, man. And I got a good message for y'all today, man. The message of the day is about the power of blood. And I know that kind of sounds weird to people because when you hear blood, the first thing you think is, either murder, some type of affliction, or some type of sacred, weird ritual. And there's a reason behind that. Blood is actually very precious and very sacred to God because it's a sign of life. It's a sign of, it's a sign of usually some type of covenant or some type of sacrifice when you think of blood. So we're going to bring out a scripture real quick. This is Genesis chapter 9, verse 6. Genesis is the first book of the Bible. So you can see all throughout history they were talking about how powerful blood was. But this is the very first book of the Bible. So even in the beginning, they was talking about the power of blood. So this is Genesis chapter 9, verse 6. It says, "Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed. For in the image of God he made man." So man is made in the image of God. Period. We all know that. And that's why if you shed man's blood, it says, "By man your blood shall also be shed. For in the image of God he made man." So you're basically shedding a sacred creation of God. You're shedding the blood of his creation. So it's very serious to him, man. And it's just crazy that we live in a world where people glorify murder and just talk about it like it's not serious. Like, man, it's very serious. Like, life is precious, man, and people just have no regard for life no more, man. It's sad. But when your homie get killed, when your homie gets smoked, you hopping online crying about it. You should have had that same energy when you went and took that other man's life, or when your people went and did that. It's all wrong. Two wrongs don't make it right, man. Period. Wrong is wrong, right is right. Murder is not good, man. It's not. If you're going into a righteous war, then that's different. But, if you're just going and killing people because you're mad, because you have built up anger or some petty beef that could have been actually talked and squashed like men, then that's different. But when you're taking it into your own hands to harmfully afflict a man or shed a man's blood, that's where it becomes a issue with God, man. You know? So that's Genesis chapter 9, verse 6. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed, for in the image of God he made man. Now, I know you guys are all familiar with the story of Cain and Abel. I know y'all are all familiar with that story. And if you're not, I'm going to break it down to you. So we're going to go to Genesis chapter 4, verse 10. I'm not going to read the previous scriptures. I'm just going to explain it to you guys. So long story short, after God made Adam and Eve, Adam ended up having sons. He had 2 sons. One's name was Cain. One's name was Abel. So I believe Abel was a shepherd of the flock, and Cain was a tiller of the land. So they both brought sacrifices to God, but God favored Abel's sacrifice. He didn't favor Cain's sacrifice. So because of that, Cain was envious and jealous of his brother, and he told his brother, hey, let's go over here in the field over here. And they went over into the field, and Cain killed his brother, spilled his blood out like he was none, his own brother. And this was the very first murder ever documented. Crazy. A very powerful story. Got a lot of hidden messages behind it, man. And that's why today you see a lot of brothers kind of going at it, because they have that same spirit of Cain on them, man. You know? It says in Matthew, a man's enemies are going to be of his own household, especially when you're trying to walk righteous and follow Jesus' example. It's going to be the same thing. But in chapter 10 it says, actually we're going to start at 9. Chapter 4, verse 9. It says, then the Lord said to Cain, where is Abel your brother? He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. So the Lord specifically told Cain, he said, the voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. You see that? Blood is sacred. Blood is precious. Blood is life. It's a sign of life. That's why the Lord told Cain, your brother's blood is literally crying out to me from the ground. Because blood is living, man. Now, he could have been speaking figuratively or metaphorically, but we all know that blood is a sign of life. And we all know energy don't get destroyed. You know? It just gets transferred. So if the Lord said, your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground, he's basically saying the spirit of the soul or the life of your brother is crying out to me, man. In the blood. There is so much power in the blood, we can't even fathom it, really. We can't. And that's why you got these wicked Illuminati higher-ups that are doing a lot of stuff with blood, specifically. Why is that? It's because they know. They know blood is sacred. They know blood is powerful. They know blood is precious to God. Blood is everything. We are blood. Blood of my blood, flesh of my flesh. You know? Very serious, man. Whoever shed man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed. Then the Lord told Cain, did you not know your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground? From the earth? And it's crazy because we came from the earth. We're made from the earth. You know? So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 23. So this is when he's giving the Israelites certain dietary laws. You know, different animals they could eat, different animals they couldn't eat, stuff they were to do, stuff they weren't to do. And he specifically told the nation of Israel, this is in chapter 12, verse 23. He said, only be sure that you do not eat the blood, for the blood is the life. You may not eat the life with the meat. So he told them they could eat the meat, but he said, do not eat the blood, for the blood is the life. You see that? Blood is life. It's a sign of life. That's why the Lord told Cain, your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. It's very, and a lot of us don't really talk about blood like that because it seems taboo or frowned upon or just kind of weird, strange. But we gotta understand how sacred and how powerful blood is, because you could be partaking in a lot of blood rituals without you even knowing. That's why I'm gonna break this down for you, and this is just gonna be a rough draft message, because I'm gonna redo this message and I'm gonna throw a lot of pictures, videos. I'm gonna throw some different studies and topics on this video, so you guys could kind of get the real message, the real meaning that I'm trying to show you guys. Because again, this is a pretty deep one. I could really go into this for 2-3 hours if I wanted to, about how sacred blood is and how, you know, a lot of wicked higher ups are doing stuff specifically with blood, you know. But remember that he specifically told the nation of Israel in the book of Deuteronomy, he said, only be sure that you do not eat the blood, for the blood is life. Blood is sacred. Let's go to Leviticus. This is another book about miscellaneous laws. Certain things they were to do and certain things they weren't to do. This is in the beginning of Leviticus, I believe. Yeah, it is. It's in Leviticus chapter 3, verse 17. It says, this shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations and all your dwellings. You shall not eat neither fat nor blood. Nor blood. You shall not eat neither fat nor blood. So again, he's telling them they should not eat the blood, man. Then you see different cultures and different types of people eating blood sausage. You see different types of people that eat their steak damn near raw. I like it bloody. I like my steak bloody. Why is that? You're not a carnivore, man. That's what animals do. They eat live beings, rip their flesh off, and eat the blood and everything. We're not supposed to do that. It's not in our nature, man. And that's why a lot of people have animalistic nature, because they act like animals. They eat blood. You know, they eat animals all day. They eat more meat than they do fruits and vegetables, which I'm not necessarily against meat, because I used to eat a lot of meat, but I'm transitioning into a fruitarian right now. I mean, I still eat vegetables and nuts and seeds, but I mainly eat fruit. Most of my diet is fruit, because fruit has life. Fruit is life. Fruit is high vibrational. It yields a lot of energy. Meat doesn't. It's dead. You know, and a lot of meat you get in the supermarket still got blood in it. That's why you got to clean it off before you eat it. That's why it comes red as hell. Of course, they put dyes in it too to preserve it, but there's blood in the meat that you get from the store usually. You know, blood sausage. Now, we don't do that over here, man. The Lord specifically said you're not supposed to eat the blood. Don't even go near it. It's sacred, man. Okay. Now let's go to Acts 15 and 20. We're going to start at 19. It says, therefore I judge that we should not trouble those from among the Gentiles who are turning to God, but that we write to them to abstain from things polluted by idols, from sexual immorality, from things strangled, and from blood. And from blood. There you go. You see it again. And from blood. So this is Paul speaking about how he's, you know, because, you know, Paul was a preacher to the Gentiles. He was preaching salvation to them and telling them to come to know God and stuff of that nature. But he was saying when we go to preach to the Gentiles and when we turn them back to God, we need to write to them to abstain from certain things, from things polluted by idols, from sexual immorality, from things strangled, and from blood. The best for last. You like that? From blood. Because again, he knew that the Gentiles were doing stuff like that. They were doing blood sacrifices. They were eating certain meats and animals that were sacrificed to idols with blood. They were probably sacrificing their own kids through the fire too, sacrificing the blood of their child to an idol. That's why he told them, come out of that. Stop acting like that. Turn away from things strangled and turn away from blood. Turn away from it. Get out of here. Come out of Babylon, man. You got to come out of here. Okay? Now, what I'm about to bring out right now, I'm going to do a whole nother message on it because it's a deep breakdown. It basically talks about how the first Passover in Israel and Christ coming and dying for us is literally intertwined with each other. There's a lot of connections. There's a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of connecting the dots you had to do with those two stories. But I'm not going to go too deep into it. But what I am going to do is bring out a couple of scriptures that have to do with the blood. Because, again, I'm not sure if you know what the Passover is, but that's when the nation of Israel was coming out of slavery in Egypt. And this is the 10th plague, because, there was 10 plagues in Egypt. And the 10th plague, God killed all the firstborn of the children and of the cattle of the Egyptians. But he said he would spare the Israelites, but they had to do one thing. They had to sacrifice a firstborn sheep, and they had to smear the blood on the doorpost. And then when the angel of death went into Egypt, whenever he crossed over the land, any house that had the blood on it was spared, but any house that didn't was killed. And all the firstborn of the cattle and of the males of the Egyptians were killed. It was called the Passover because the angel passed over. And what did they use as a sign of life, as a sign of the covenant, as a sign of a sacrifice? They used blood. And we're going to get into that. We're going to go to Exodus chapter 12. That's when it talks about the Passover. I went right to it. Woo! So listen closely. This is Exodus chapter 12, verse 3. It says, "Speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying, on the 10th of this month, every man shall take for himself a lamb, according to the household of his father, a lamb for the household." Right? So he has to take a lamb. Now listen, this is in verse 7. So all the nation of Israel, they have to take a lamb out of their father's household, right? And they shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and on the lintel of the houses where they eat it. So they had to take the lamb, they had to sacrifice the lamb, then they had to take the blood of the lamb, Listen where I'm going with this. They had to take the blood of the lamb, right? And they had to put it on the doorpost. Okay? Now listen what it says right here. "For I will pass through the land of Egypt on that night and will strike all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment, for I am the Lord. Now the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be on you to destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt." You see that? So the blood of the lamb was used as a sacrifice, and it was used as a covenant with the nation of Israel. Because after this, he made a covenant with them, and they became his chosen people. But something had to be sacrificed first. Blood had to be used, because blood is a sign of life. It's sacred. That's why he said, take a lamb of your father's household, sacrifice it, take the blood of the lamb, put it on the doorpost. And when I send my angel into Egypt, the angel of death that's going to kill all the Egyptians, when it passes over your household, it will spare you. This is known as the Passover. So if you ever hear the Passover, this was the original Passover. Now things are different because Christ came and died for us. So now Christ is the sacrificial lamb. You get it? So these two stories correlate perfectly. And there's a reason why they had to sacrifice the firstborn sheep, because it could have been any lamb. But there was a reason why the firstborn lamb had to be sacrificed. You get it? You got to connect the dots. You got to build with me, family. I'm going to break it down for you. Trust me. I want you guys to understand this. I really do. And then it says, this day shall be kept as a memorial, and you shall keep it as a feast to the Lord all throughout your generations. So that lets you know this holy day is very sacred. It's very sacred. It's very powerful. And this was an actual thing. That's why you see people to this day still practicing and keeping the Passover. You know, because this was an actual holy day we were supposed to keep. You know, this is an actual thing. Okay? So let's go to Hebrews 11:28. Hebrews 11:28. It says, by faith he kept the Passover in the sprinkling of blood, lest he who destroyed the firstborn should touch them. By faith, because it all starts with faith, man. We gotta believe blood is sacred. We gotta believe it's precious. We gotta believe that Jesus' blood redeemed us. Because when Jesus came and died and shed his blood, he redeemed us. Because again, blood is sacred, it's precious, it has life in it. So blood had to be used to buy back what we lost when we sinned, and death inherited into the earth. Because that was the consequence. Once our forefather Adam sinned, he was an imperfect man, so he passed that on to his lineage. And now all of us are sinful beings. But because of Jesus coming down and sacrificing himself, being a sacrificial lamb and shedding his blood, now we have the chance to ask for forgiveness, repent, and actually change and walk upright and have everlasting life, man. But it starts with faith. That's why it says, by faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood. Because blood was shed, man. Okay, now let's go to 1 Corinthians 5:7. It said, therefore, purge out the old leaven. Purge out the old leaven, meaning throw out your old self, your old characteristics, your old nature, how you used to be. Purge that out. It's leaven. It's fermented. It's acidic. It's toxic. Purge it out. Purge out your old leaven, that you may be a new lump, a new person, a new vessel, a new creation. Therefore, purge out the old leaven and become a new lump, since you truly are unleavened. For indeed Christ, our Passover, was sacrificed for us. You see that? It said Christ, our Passover. So now, of course, we don't have to sacrifice a lamb no more and put blood on the dirt poles. That was the very first Passover. But now, guess what the Passover is? Now the Passover is Christ. Because it said Christ, our Passover, was sacrificed to us. So now what we do is we keep the Lord's memorial. That's what it's called now. You know, we acknowledge that Christ came and died for us. You know, we pour the wine, we pass the unleavened bread around. That's what we do now. You know, because he was sacrificed for us. He is the sacrificial lamb. Okay? So just keep building with me, family. I promise you, when I break this message down again, it's going to be way better. I'm throwing the videos in, I'm doing all that. So just bear with me. Okay? So this is 1 Peter 1:19. It said, but with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb, without blemish and without spot. He indeed was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you. You see that? But with the precious blood, because again, blood is precious. It's a sign of life. That's why I said with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb, without blemish. And guess what? During the first Passover, when the Israelites had to sacrifice a lamb, guess what the lamb had to be? The lamb had to be without blemish. It had to be a firstborn lamb of the flock, and it had to be without blemish. And guess what they referred Christ to? The Passover lamb. And guess what they said? He was without blemish. Why? Because he was perfect. But with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb without blemish. Perfect man. Glorious being before he came down to the earth and died. And then guess what? Elevated back to the spiritual realm to show us that we could do the same thing if we kill our flesh, if we kill our lower animalistic nature, and we elevate and become a God. You got to find the God within. Elevate to that Christ conscious, man. Purge out that old leaven, that old personality, that old nature, that old Jew you used to be. You could do it. It all starts with soul searching and finding yourself and understanding how sacred blood is and how powerful it is. You got people that are going to get in blood transfusions. You got people that are going to get in their blood drawn all the time, willfully getting their blood out. Do you know how sacred blood really is, man? You think these people that work at the blood bank are taking blood and auctioning it off to the black market, to the dark web, and getting money off of you, off of your blood? You're literally giving your temple away, man, for free. And people are turning around and getting money off of it, turning around and doing a satanic ritual, sacrificing to idols, Baal, Molech, the Asherets, man. You know, I could go on and on about this. And these higher ups know this. Why do you think they do blood drinking? You ever heard of blood drinking? That's an actual thing different African Hamitic cultures used to do. Take blood and trade it and drink it. You know why? Because they say that it keeps you younger. It keeps you looking good. It keeps you strong. You know what they say? If you want to build an empire, keep it in the what? Keep it in the bloodline. Right? That's why you look at all the number one businesses in the world are all ran through families. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. These are ran through families. You can't just come get down with them. Nah, you got to be of a bloodline. And God works like that too. That's why he worked with a certain nation of people. The nation of Israel, Yashrael. It was a bloodline. And you got these people that stole our heritage and turned it into a religion. And now they say, oh, well, we adopted the customs of the Jews. So now we're Jewish. This is Judaism. No, it's not. You are not a Jew. You wish you could be a Jew. Get it? Jewish? You wish you could be a Jew. Yeah, but it's you get where I'm getting at with this. Everything is blood. Everything is sacred. Everything is precious, man. And these wicked higher-ups know that. That's why they tell you, oh, nothing's wrong with a blood transfusion. Nothing's wrong with eating blood sausage. Eating a steak with blood in it. Nothing's wrong with that. Don't get me started on the adrenochrome. What do you think all these aborted fetuses are going? You think they're just throwing them away? Why would they do that for when they could sell them on the black web, sell them on the dark market? Or they could grind it up and make it into a paste or some type of weird drink and go sell it to weird people that think that by drinking it, they're keeping themselves younger, they're keeping themselves fresh. And who knows what benefits it might have? It might just have benefits. To be honest, because it's life. You know, nutrients, magnesium, zinc. They probably think in their sick, twisted mind that by drinking that, they're preserving themselves. You know, but it's wicked as hell. What do you think these false gods were doing thousands of years ago? They were having people sacrifice their children through the fire. What do you think that was referring to? That was a human sacrifice. You read all through it in the book of Kings, Numbers, Deuteronomy. It talks about how these false gods, these fallen angels came down here and they tricked us into thinking that they were gods. And what did they do? They knew blood was sacred. They knew blood was precious. That's why they specifically told us, oh, you got to sacrifice your son through the fire. That's sick as hell, man. And this was an actual thing, and it's still happening. Or do you think you see all these aborted fetuses, and you hear about different brands of food, like Lay's, Oreos, Nestle, I could go on, and they say that a lot of these foods have aborted fetuses in them, man. And that's why I'm telling y'all this, because you might not know that you're partaking in a blood ritual. You know, it's very serious. You got people taking blood baths. That's a thing, too. Taking blood baths. You could go online and look it up, blood bath. It will pop right up. People taking a bath in the blood and smiling. Wicked as hell. Then you got artists in the industry like Lil Nas X. You know he made a shoe. And guess what? The shoe had blood in the bottom of the sole. I could not make this up. Lil Nas X, he has a shoe. I'm not sure who sponsored it. I'm not sure if it was through Foot Locker. I don't remember. But he had a shoe that had blood in it. I cannot make this up. It's very serious, man. It's very serious. Blood is sacred. It's very sacred. It's very powerful. It is. That's why I love Hezekiah. Shout out Hezekiah. He said, there's power in the blood. Wholeheartedly believe. There's power in the blood, man. there is. That's why Christ had to come down and shed his blood. If blood wasn't powerful, he wouldn't have had to do that. Be aware, stay woke. And again, the reason why I'm focusing on this message, and not just this message, every message I bring out, is because you guys might think you're spiritually growing, you're being righteous, you're trying to find God. That's good, but you got to be aware about stuff like this, because there's people who know blood is sacred. There's people who know blood is powerful. There's people who know blood is precious, but they're still partaking in it without knowing. If you don't know, that's fine, but if you do know, you're wrong. And that's why I'm telling y'all, you need to start doing research about what they really put in the food, man. What they really do, what they're really pushing, the music you listen to. Because you could be listening to an artist that, man, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. It's deep. These wicked higher-ups know this type of stuff. That's why blood is everywhere without you even knowing. Most people like their steak a little bloody. You go to a restaurant, you hear people taking their order. How you want your steak? Oh, a little blood. What? That's partaking in blood. Blood sausage. A bloodbath. Adrenochrome. These aborted fetuses that are coming up missing, man. Why do you think you got so much private corporations buying into Planned Parenthood? You go to the hoods, there's a Planned Parenthood on every block. You know why it's called Planned Parenthood? Because they planned it. Go watch Martha Sanger's interviews, man. She tells you that she specifically targeted minorities. She tells you that she has no respect for human life. She tells you that. She ain't even hiding it. And these private corporations know that. That's why they're buying into Planned Parenthood, and they're probably taking the fetuses and doing who knows what with them, man. I mean, really. Bro, it's not a game. It's not a game. But I'm not going to make this message too long because I got a lot of stuff I got to do today. You know, but I love you guys, and that's why I do this. So keep in mind, the blood is very powerful, man. It's very sacred to God. And, you know, just keep doing research, family. Keep building your spirit up and questioning everything. Don't just know something is important or sacred or precious and you don't actually do research on it. Because, again, you don't want to partake in something without knowing what you're really doing. So, again, this is Monta Majestic with Mastermind Motivation. I love y'all, man. You guys have a good day. Stay positive. Keep grinding. Keep building that spirit up, man. It's work that needs to be done out here, man. You know, the world just keeps turning and turning and turning, with or without us. You know, with all that, I give all praise to Yahweh. You know, thank you guys. You have a good day and Godspeed.